Hello, thank you very much for tuning in to this week's section of reads. This should be on the YouTube channel James13 Wicca in case you're seeing it somewhere else. Um, if you are interested in the dice or the decks I'm using for these readings, those are listed below. Other than that, if you'd like a reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thank you very much for watching. Let's get into your choice. Hello, Virgo. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's read. These readings are valid for whenever you come to them. You know how that goes. Let's see what we have for Virgo. I'm all getting tripped up here for some reason. What's up with that? Okay. There's a history to whatever this is. And it's more about the history being what you want. I don't know if that's right. The history creating what you want. I think of Virgo as very realistic. Is it all sunshine rainbows? No. We didn't get a beautiful crop by just having sunny days. Rain had to come, this had to come, that had to happen. There's a lot of things that went into what we got today, and it wasn't all easy and it wasn't all fun and games. It was a lot of work, and things don't always go the way you want them to. Virgo's very realistic. Like, yeah, that's just kind of how it goes. It goes that way for everybody to some extent. So, oh, there's a face down card. That's fine. Whatever the situation is, sometimes I do feel like you purposefully stay out of it. And you may even question, like, I don't know if I'm purposely staying out of it or if I'm just on the outside of it. It's probably a mix of both. To some extent, you kind of are on the outside, but to another extent, you could get yourself into the situation if you really wanted to. This is interesting because I feel like when I get the Eight of Cups, it's a minor arcana, but I also feel like I don't completely walk away from things, but I do disconnect to a point. So it's almost like it could be like a work situation where it's kind of like I just have to work with certain people now and then, but I just kind of keep my distance where I can. It could be family, friends. I'd be surprised if, well, it could be friends too. It seems more of a social group where you're still connected, you still participate to a point, but you kind of stay on the outside, and when it gets a little bit crunchy, you're like, yeah, just let that work without me. I don't really need to be a part of that. You probably know what's going on, but you kind of stay on the outskirts. Okay. Could get a little crunchy every now and then. Overall, one of the reasons, though, is that you do like it, which may seem weird. So especially, well, this would make sense for family. It's like, overall, you do like it. You're just like, I'm not interested in being in the middle of everybody's problems. I don't really want to do that. And, you know, sometimes less is more. The less I know, the more I can just move on from it. Especially if you feel like I can't effectively fix other people's problems anyway, so maybe I just don't need to know certain things. It's almost like when I see over to the side, whatever this is, it's almost like I know somebody's doing something they shouldn't, but it's up to them and whoever else they're dealing with to work it out. The other person knows what they're doing too. Me putting my 2 cents in there isn't going to change what's going on and what's going to happen next. In fact, I could get some backlash. Not going to do it. Overall, you do like the situation, though. I keep getting that. Judgment has been passed. You may not realize it. This was the face down card. It's Judgment. Okay. You got good cards. You're heading towards really good cards. So Judgment will be going in your favor. If it starts off that way or not is a question mark. I guess it depends on how you're relating to whatever's happening. Because it's like there's stress at the moment. And I feel like there's just certain things that you have to help. It's like giving somebody a ride or something, or like helping somebody out with there's something, you're getting dragged into something. I get that with the Eight of Swords, and I get that with the Seven of Pentacles together. You're getting dragged into something, and it's kind of like, all right, I gotta do what I gotta do. I almost feel like I'm reluctantly dragged into something, but you're dragged into something. That's why we're using the word dragged. It makes sense. That seems real simple. Getting dragged into what? Like, what are you getting dragged into? Some people in this situation you really like. Some people you really don't. I don't think there's really many people that are in the middle, if any. I feel like I just keep looking at this like there's some I really like and there's some I really don't. I don't really see many people in the middle because I feel like, I don't know, I don't feel a lot of people in the middle. You really either like them or you really don't. I keep getting that over and over, whatever the situation is. And you're navigating it it does feel like I'm navigating it in a very political sense. Kind of like I don't need problems, and some of these people, I just feel like they become problems and then it's not necessary. So I feel like you're very careful about who you talk to, what you talk about. It feels very political in a way. And I do feel like you're doing your best to make it work. Overall, the situation you do like. I keep getting that with that Lover's card. Overall, Judgment, I do think it's going in your favor. I feel like saying that at this point in the situation is like, I don't know about that. It's like, maybe. I don't know. It's stressful, but you are doing really well with it. This is one of those times where I get the yes, you're correct with the stress card. Well, it's not. It's success through effort. You're putting a lot of effort and you're getting success, but it's not the easiest effort. It takes a lot of work. It's like this person balancing all these wands. It's kind of like you're doing your best to be as effective and to not let this draw out any longer than it has to. So you're trying to get it done as quickly as possible while still doing it correctly. And you are being effective. I keep getting like you sit out still. Every now and then you sit out and maybe you're like thinking to yourself, should I be sitting out? Am I supposed to be more involved? Wait, am I too involved? Have I said too much? I feel like I'm going back and forth. Like, am I sitting out too much? Am I not sitting out enough? Am I involved too much? Am I not involved enough? I keep going back and forth with it. You're regulating it quite well, actually. The situation does seem like it has a lot going on with it. There's people who want you a part of it. There's a lot of heartfelt emotions from people. Like, people care about you. People care about you. They want you around. You are a very stabilizing influence in their opinion. And that's what they're looking for. But they care about you anyway. I feel like the people who are more on the level. What do I mean by that, though? People who are looking to go towards a resolution and they want things to actually correct. They want things to actually get better, which could be per viewpoint, just to be fair. So, like, when I say they want things to improve, they want things to get better in their vision of what that would look like. It doesn't mean you're going to agree with where they want to take this. It doesn't mean you're going to agree with what they think would actually fix this. But they do seem to kind of line up with you more because they want your opinion and they want you to help them create the future that's better, that they think it should exist. And through your efforts, they can see if that actually is applicable or if that's actually realistic. This is a good there's at least one, if not more, that really do care about you, but may be difficult for you to deal with on occasion because you're not going to you're not going to be like, oh yeah, you can fly really high with lead balloons. Yeah, you could go right over that mountain because lead balloons don't float. I've never had a lead balloon, but from what I understand, they don't float. I don't know where that saying comes from other than going over like a lead balloon, like it's not going anywhere. You're not going to tell people what they want to hear because you know it's going to backlash. You're going to tell people the truth. Like, yeah, no, I don't think that's going to work. And you would probably tell them why. So once in a while, it may be difficult for you to deal with this energy because you are sanity in this situation. And sometimes they just want you to agree and help them make happen what's not really going to happen. And you're just, I can't invest in that. I can't be a part of something that's not making sense and not going to happen. a lot of people do like you in this situation, and some people are expecting you to actually help sort it out. What is this? They feel like you care, and they do feel like you have a sound way of looking at things. People want you to help them create what they want. This may bother you, because it's not like, I feel like this is another thing where it's like, they're looking at it one way and like, obviously we can do this, and you're like, not if you include reality. No, we can't do that. And people are like, yeah, but we can, what way, well, how could we make it happen? And you're like, it's almost like you have $50 in your pocket and they want to fly across this mountain. And you're like, well, we don't have the resources to, we're going to have to walk. We don't want to walk. Then I guess you're not going across the mountain. I got $50. You don't have any money. We're not flying across this mountain. It's not realistic. Well, what if we use a catapult? You're going to die. No, you're not going to use a catapult. It's not going to work. If you try to catapult yourself across this mountain, you're not going to land very happy. Well, we could use... Nope, not going to entertain this conversation. Not going to do it. It's weird. People very much like you, but at the same time, it could be stressful for you. Kind of like, no, that's... No. And I feel like people are like... It's like they're trying to convince you that it could work. And they feel like if they can get you to agree, then they can make it work. And you're like, yeah, I'm not going to agree. That makes no sense. You can't catapult across this mountain, for one. That's no. And then when you land, if God forbid you were able to get the lift to get across this mountain, it's a mountain. You're not going to, no. No. Coming forward, you have to put up, you don't have to do anything. There's going to be a boundary. Let's do that. I don't know if you're the one setting it or helping hold it, but there's a boundary coming up. There's a boundary. I feel like you're trying to help corral it a little bit. Like, we don't need it to go over that far. We don't need everybody involved in this. We don't need this to go that far. Let's kind of pull it in. Not everybody needs to know what's going on. We don't need to make this everybody's problem, and we don't need everybody's opinion on this. Let's bring it in. Let's corral it in. I feel like we're trying to corral it in. Conversations will be happening. You have very, very sharp insight on certain things. Be careful to not try to follow somebody else's, like, oh, okay, they want something over here, so let's work over here. Like, they have a lot of, that's not going to happen, but let me see if there's anything realistic over in this direction. So let me ask questions and see if I can find something realistic. Maybe we can't fly, but maybe there's a path that way we could walk. They want to get there in 2 hours. It might be 2 weeks. But hey, let me at least find... Be careful of doing that. Do the Virgo thing is what I'm getting. Be careful of like following and trying to help people make what they want. Kind of like, all right, we can't do that, but maybe I can find something in this direction. Instead of trying to find something in the direction they want, step back and do the Virgo thing. If nobody else was involved and you wanted to get to the other side of this mountain and you have $50 in your pocket, how would you do it? And it's kind of like, well, I wouldn't do what they're doing. And you may even be like, well, I don't even want to get across this mountain. But if you did, it's kind of like, all right, well, I'm not going today because I only have $50 and I'm not going today. Not leaving today. I wouldn't leave today. Also, I think I would do this and do that, and I would get my stuff together. I would ask this person to do this for me because I'm going to be away. I'd be doing that because I need that. I could probably make some money to like build up some equity, so I'd have more traveling money if I really need to get there. I feel like it's kind of like, how would you do it? Like, if it was just up to you, the goal is to get to the other side of this mountain. What are the restraints? When do you got to be there? How would you do it without other people's influences? If nobody else was influencing you, it wasn't, you know, how would you make it happen? Because I keep getting I kept getting the kickback, but this is why I'm waiting for this. Yeah, but people aren't going to want to hear how I would do it. I keep getting that kickback. Oh, they're not going to want to hear how I would do it. Regain your focus is one, and you are protected. Step back. What would you do if nobody else's influence was there? And then just work from there. Just kind of like, well, this is the most sensible way to handle this. Let's see what we can do from there. Regain your focus, but like, do the Virgo thing, if that makes it think. Do the Virgo thing. How would you do it? What would make sense to you? Assuming you if this is going with the viewpoint that you agree that you need to get over there. Like, I feel like a lot of you would be like, well, I wouldn't do that. Like, I wouldn't even want to get there. All right, but with the viewpoint that you would want to get to the same goal. That type of thing. All right. You are very strong, and you have a really, really good viewpoint that could really create a lot of things. I pushed this card to the side because I knew it wasn't okay. They're not going to be open to it at first. It's a timing card, isn't it? Everything in perfect timing. All in perfect timing, whatever. They're not going to be open to that at first. But you're the one who makes sense. So they may not want to hear it, but they need to hear it. I do get by you coming in with your opinion, how you would do it if nobody else was influencing you. This is going to end up in a good place because you're going to help get an outcome that actually can sustain the situation. I do feel like they are looking at this in a sensible way. What do you mean by that? When the dust settles and everything is calm, you're going to make the smart decision. You're going to make the decision that not only makes sense, but that's going to last. And I feel like that they realize that. And they may need some time to get over whatever's going on here. They may need some time to get over it. But this does come to a good place. What does this other card say? Oh. So it may be more subtle clues. I feel like this might haunt you for a little while, whatever this situation is. Haunt you? Okay. It may haunt you for a little while. Kind of like, is it still there? Is it still a problem? Am I going to have to deal with this again? Are people upset with what I did or what I had influence on? Blah, 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 blah. There's a million and one ways this could go. Watch for the subtle clues. And you'll see the situation does work out well. People may not be skipping through the roses about it. Skipping through the roses? Roses have thorns, you know. But people may not be skipping through the roses, but still, it's a good outcome, and you're influencing that heavily. Even if they're not super, like, you know, tripping over themselves with happiness, it's a realistic happiness. And there is a good outcome here. There is a good outcome here. We're there. I'm going to shut this down. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day.